This week I learned either folks are a whole lot nicer in person, or my channel has a much bigger footprint than I thought. Hey, what's up, bookworms? Mike back with another weekly update as we're rolling into the month of September now, which means it's football time, but we'll get to that in a little bit. Very, very busy week as I was out of town, and that will come up more than once, I think, this episode. But it was a very, very fun week. It's been kind of somewhat of a working vacation, as it were, but it's just a ton of fun, and we're going to kind of get into all that. We're going to begin, like usual, guys. Let's talk about what am I reading. I did finish Ordinary Grace. I don't have a copy to show you because I have it on digital. Very good. Very, very good. I think that I had guarantees that I was going to like this book due to the coming of age aspect in it. It's one of those books where about the midway point, I was like, okay, I'm enjoying this. I like the slice of life and things like that. I don't really see like the actual plot in this book at all. And then boom, it hits at about the 50% mark. And then it kind of turns into almost like a murder mystery. And I will not lie to you guys, my jaw was on the floor the second to last chapter because I did not figure it out. And I never would have figured it out. It was very, very good, very rewarding. It was a bittersweet journey because if you're dealing with coming of age, obviously you got to have that traumatic event that takes you from your childhood into adulthood, and it is a very, very tragic one. But when it was actually the bit in the book where you realize what the title means, Ordinary Grace, it really, really got me right here because I do have a child that has a speech problem, and it was really very much so. The dad shit, I think, got me more in this than it did the nostalgia, the coming of age kind of aspects of it. So the dad in that, if I had as much, I think it was Nathan was his name. If I had just like 1% of the patience that man has, I think I would be a much better dad. But it was an amazing story. Very, very happy that it was the pick for this month's ℙ𝕦𝕤𝕤𝕤, and we'll be getting together soon to talk about that. But I was very, very happy with the book. It's got to be the early runner for my book of the month right now. It is very good, and I think that I would recommend to anybody, no matter what kind of genre you're into. I think it's just a good story because it can't be one of those things where I say, oh, it reminds me of my childhood because it's 1960s. But I do think that there are some things that no matter what time period you grew up in, if you're of that era where you're just riding your bikes and spending time outside, pre-internet age, I think, you'll find something to like there. But very, very good book, and I look forward to discussing it with the ℙ𝕦𝕤𝕤𝕤. How about what am I going to read here? I was out of town for 3 days, guys, and so I didn't really read a ton. I drove both ways, let my wife read because she was trying to finish Empire of Silence before we got to Dallas to actually see Christopher. But I did start Bloodsong. I didn't get really that far into it. You can see here, not that far. And about, I don't know, midway, I was like, okay, this is like, I just finished The Darkness That Comes Before. There's a lot of names being thrown. You know how it is when you start a new fantasy book. There's a lot of new names and stuff like that you're trying to learn. I was like, okay, maybe I need to ease off this for just a second and maybe read another kind of non-fantasy book in between it. So I picked up Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix, and I'd say I'm probably about 30% through that one right now, and that's a lot of fun. I'm enjoying that one quite a bit. It wasn't what I was expecting per se. I mean, somewhat. I mean, it feels like it is very much what the book is described as. I think just the way that it has set everything up isn't quite what I was expecting, but I do kind of want to strangle the protagonist at times and be like, are you this gullible? But, I think that's what a horror story does kind of dictate a little bit, is that you want to live a little. You do want to, just kind of throw caution to the wind and just be dangerous. And I think that's what my lead protagonist is doing here. But, if you're a really real person, you're like, I don't really believe in all this stuff. So you can see why someone would make those kind of decisions. But I'm like, there's serial killer red flags right there, honey. What are we doing? What are we doing? But I'm enjoying it quite a bit so far. I think Grady Hendrix is going to end up being an author that I do really enjoy because I loved My Best Friend's Exorcism, and it seems like it is headed on the same path as well. As far as Bloodsong, I don't have anything bad about it to say about it. Like I said, I was like, okay, maybe I'm not quite ready to get back into a layered fantasy story yet, just because I still have The Darkness That Comes Before kind of heavy on the brain. And I want to make sure I kind of smooth that out a little bit. So that'll probably, I don't know, I'll probably pick it up afterwards. Before I start Canticle for Leibowitz, I'll get back into Bloodsong, I think. I'll probably just be reading these concurrently. I used to do that a lot, and I kind of got away from it. I'll probably just be reading these kind of at the same time. And, it's a good thing that I got a jump on September because I think September is going to be quite the month. That leads us to this week on the channel, guys. I didn't know I was going out of town so I did a couple of videos before I left and kind of had them set to go. I wrapped up the month of August and named my book of the month. If you've been watching the weekly updates, if you watched the review that I did for the book, don't think it was very hard for you to decide what or predict what my book of the month was going to be. I was very, very happy with what I found in that book, and it is not left my head yet. You know, it is still very much right there, and I'm anxious to continue with that series because of how much I did enjoy it. But yeah, anytime you do a wrap-up, it's a lot of fun to kind of look at what worked and what didn't. And, you know, I have more Grimdark viewers on this channel than I thought I did. You know, that was very, very exciting to learn. I also did my book haul for August, which is a little earlier in the month. Like I said, I knew I was going out of town, and I just had to get some stuff up while I was out. So I went ahead and did that a little earlier than usual. But I love a good book haul. I love showing you guys what I did get, saying thank you for those things. It was my birthday book haul, so it was a little bigger than usual, and a little longer. And I had some really, really interesting stuff in there, like the eyeglass e-reader, which was really gotten a lot of weird reactions to it. And it's a really cool device. It's one of those things where you're using it and you're feeling like I am living in the future. I could only imagine something like this when I was a kid. But great month, and lots of new things at the library. And I cannot thank you guys enough. That's why I love to do a good book haul and say thank you. So I did go to Dallas, obviously, Dallas, Arlington, and I met up with Ryan Cahill, author of Bound the Broken, and of course Chris Verrocchio for Sun Eater. They were having a dual signing event out there 2 nights, and I was just coming out there to kind of just hang out with them because I knew, like, I figured, you know, Christopher's in the States. I probably have a good chance of us meeting at a con eventually. With Ryan, I was like, who knows, you're going to get another chance to meet someone who lives in New Zealand, you know? So I wanted to make sure I made the effort to go up there and hang out with them. And about 3 days before, Ryan messaged me. He's like, hey, me and Christopher were talking, and we would be honored if you would moderate for us at the signings. I said, wow, sure, I can do that. Is there anything you want me to talk about? Like, nah, figure it out. And we did. It was a ton of fun. I cannot say thank you enough for them. But while I was there, I decided, hey, you know, we're just hanging out. Do you guys mind if I just set the camera up and we just kind of record our bullshitting? And that's what it was. I put out a video where I said it was an Italian, an Irishman, and a guy with Wi-Fi walking to a bar, because I'm of the 80s and we used to tell that terrible, terrible joke all the time. But it was fun. To me, it was like, it's not really an interview or anything like that. I know that there was a lot of upset people in the comments. They thought it was just going to be like an interview. It was literally just us cutting up. And a lot of people were giving Ryan a hard time, saying he interrupts everybody. I'm like, have you guys ever been part of a conversation? It's like you're stepping all over each other. It's just a discombobulated mess, and that's what that video was. It's just a lot of people had said we were out drinking at a bar after that first night, and there was a lot of people that were like, I would love to be a fly on the wall and hear this conversation. That's the kind of stuff we were talking about the whole time, you know. So I did ask a couple of questions that I knew that people would want to know when you're talking to authors. But a lot of it's just like us cutting up and just having fun, you know. So I can assure you that neither myself nor Christopher were upset with Ryan stepping on our words or anything like that. I'm pretty sure I did it to him and Christopher did. That's just the way it goes when you're just a bunch of guys just hanging out and talking. And that's what we did. So I had a ton of fun with the video. I wasn't sure how you guys were going to feel. I'd actually joked, hey, I should put this up with the bloopers in place and the errors and stuff. And a lot of people were saying like they were really receptive to that. So I did, guys. Like the only cut that I made was just, I was doing the testing. And I used it as a cold open just to make sure the audio was working, the light looked okay. And that's just the only place that we really cut it. And one part where I had to, you know, my camera will only record for 30 minutes and stops. You have to do it again. So I have like a quick little cut there, but you can hear the audio the whole time. So it's frightening for me to put something up like that without any cuts. But I just want you guys to feel like you were kind of hanging out with us. And that was a great time. I want to kind of just talk about this experience overall in Dallas and Arlington and the Woodlands. And I might get a little sappy here, guys. First, I want to thank Ryan and Christopher for asking me to kind of share in the spotlight with them a little bit. That was just an immense amount of fun for me to not only do that, to put them guys over. I've always said I have no problem being like your Paul Heyman, your hype man. I can try to get you guys, you know, over with the crowd and things like that. And that's with me. I mean, when I got there to Barnes & Noble, they were like, do you mind doing this? And I kept telling them I can do as much or as little as you want. It really is no problem for me. So the first night, you know, they kind of had audience questions written down and that kind of thing. But then the second night, we were actually at the Theater Arlington. And that was just kind of loosey-goosey. Just let's go. And that's why you see the video of me just with my legs up on the table and stuff like that, just having a great time. And that's just kind of what we did the whole visit. It was so much fun, but I met so many people that knew who I was. That's what really freaked me out. Because I've had people ask me a ton, have you ever gone to a place and somebody recognizes you? And I'm like, in Houston, I was like, I mean, I'm mostly outside. Most of my viewing audience is going to be outside of the city that I live in, honestly. So no, it doesn't really happen. And at these two events, and then of course the one in the Woodlands here, I met so many people that not only knew who I was, were just like telling me how much the channel means to them and stuff like that. And I'm not going to lie, there was a couple times I almost choked up. There was a gentleman, and I apologize, I forget your name. I met so many people when I heard so many names this weekend, so I do apologize. A younger kid from SMU, and he comes up and says, just want to let you know that, I got sick there for a while, and I was watching your channel, and it really, really helped me get through, kind of the dark times, which I've heard a bunch before. But then he brought up that I was the reason that he's gotten sober. I was the reason that he quit drinking. He found something else to bury himself in, my channel and the books that I recommended. And I won't lie, it was tough for me to kind of hold in the man tears. It was really, really touching. It really moved me quite a bit. Because, I mean, I love hearing, people are like, oh, I wasn't reading at all until I found your channel, and, you've had a positive influence on my life. But someone saying that something like that, that's just heavy. I never heard anything like that before. So I think for me, I've never done like a tour or anything. So I just a million times thanked Christopher and Ryan that I had never experienced that kind of thing before. So it was like, if I'm acting like a complete newbie, it's because I am, and thank you so much. It was just exhilarating getting to meet so many people, and people were just so kind, just so kind, and had nothing but amazing things to say to me and about me. I'm sorry, Christopher and Ryan, if I brought the value of your books down, because people were asking me to sign your books. It was really, really strange, but it was a once in a lifetime kind of experience for me, and I loved it. And I don't know, it got me thinking that, man, we really should get a booktube convention together or something like that. I think that there would be an audience for that. I think it would be a lot of fun. Now, I don't want to organize it because there's a lot of work that goes in that, but if someone else wants to organize that, I will definitely help you in any regard that I can. It was so much fun, and I cannot say thank you enough again to those two gentlemen, and to Barnes & Noble, to ℚ𝕦𝕤𝕠𝕠𝕜 Books, and also Barnes & Noble here in the Woodlands as well, for letting me be a part of that as well, because it was just a blast for me. And just meeting so many new people was exhilarating. Speaking of ℚ𝕦𝕤𝕠𝕠𝕜 Books, I had a lot of people ask me, hey, can you grab me an autographed book while you're there? ℚ𝕦𝕤𝕠𝕠𝕜 Books actually has a lot of leftover signed stock. They had them sign everything that they had. And they said in the next week or so, they're going to kind of move all that stock onto their website. So check out ℚ𝕦𝕤𝕠𝕠𝕜 Books' website if you missed the event and you want to get a signed Sun Eater or a signed Bound on the Broken book. And I hope you will do both. We did do our NFL preview over on Mike's Media Reviews. I invited Josh from Red Fury Books. I had Brian from ℚ𝕦𝕠𝕠𝕜, and my friend Armin, who we used to podcast about Houston sports years ago. So that was kind of a throwback for me. But guys, I love the NFL. We'll talk about that in the TV and movie talk section. And I just have to have an outlet for these things, and being able to talk to those guys. We talked for like 3 hours. We went through every single team. We went through every single division, made our predictions and our picks and all those things. It was so much fun. So if you're into sports, you're into the NFL, please go over there and check that out, because we had a blast. And now that the season has started, those predictions are going to age like moldy cheese, I am guessing. And I did talk with Theo over on his channel, Rekindled Reader. We did have to delay that. He actually got sick before that. We made up for it, and it's about time. It's about time. I've felt like it's been time for he and I to get together and have a one-on-one discussion for a while. Like, Theo's been my ride or die for years, guys. If you don't know, long before he even had a booktube channel, he actually asked me about the Dune Folio Society. He's like, do you have that? I was like, I don't. I wish I could even like hold it, because it's amazing. He said, I got you. What? And he actually sent that to me. So Theo's been my ride or die ever since then. I'll always be a great champion of his channel, because not just because he bought me a Dune Folio Society, because he is a genuinely awesome and kind and caring person, and he cares about others. And I feel like that's the kind of people that I like to latch on to in life, and Theo is definitely one of the good ones. So check that conversation out. Check Theo's channel out. Subscribe if you haven't. If for anything, do it because the beard is full on, like, Riker Season 2 Star Trek Next Generation beard. It's really, really quality stuff. I do have a couple of next week plans here, guys. Christopher did actually make it through town. He was here for the Woodlands, which is right by where I work. Said, let's get together while you're here. I wanted to invite him into the Inner Sanctum, have him sign my Empire Silence, because that was the only one I did not have signed. And he did hang out, and we said, hey, let's go ahead and record something. So we did record a video, so I'm going to put that out next week. I didn't want to kind of put it really back to back with the three-way. That sounds great. The three-way discussion that Ryan and Christopher and I had. But there is one just more about just me and Christopher that I'll be putting up on the channel early sometime next week. And I'll finally get to my 5-star chonkers I've been putting off for 2 weeks, because just events, guys. There's just a lot of things that have been going on, and I'm glad that I got to do those things. But I know I hate telling you guys I'm going to make a video and then I don't make it. But yeah, what I said was that's just the counterpart to the Are You Tired of Big Books? Well, this is Are You Ready for Some Big Books? Because I got some 5-star clonkers for you to read. And we'll be doing ℚ𝕦𝕤𝕤𝕤 for Ordinary Grace. We'll be doing that over on Philip's channel on Thursday night, the 12th. Well, I think Philip's actually going to do a live stream, you guys. Welcome to the future. Philip is doing a live stream, but he, Brian, and I, and John over at Talking Story are going to be talking about Ordinary Grace, and we'll do the non-spoiler recap kind of at first, and then we'll actually get into spoilers. And I'm anxious to see how it goes, because it seems like everyone enjoyed it much more than Vanished Birds, and in my opinion, that isn't too hard. Some TV and movie talk stuff. Before I go, obviously we were traveling, so we didn't do a ton of it. We did finish Sopranos Season 6, Part 1. It has been my wife's least favorite stretch of the series. And I told her, you know, during the first run, it was mine as well. I thought the Vito storyline I've talked about didn't really go anywhere for it just to end the way that it did. I didn't understand why they put that much time into it. It was the first part of The Sopranos that actually felt like a little bit of filler. Now, look, The Worst Sopranos is better than a lot of the greatest parts of other TV shows, to be clear. But what I do remember is Season 6, Part 2 is really, really good, and it's bittersweet. It's bittersweet when you're coming down to that end run. I've enjoyed this rewatch immensely. I haven't watched it again since its first run on TV, so this has been a lot of fun for me, and then just kind of hearing my wife's thoughts as we go along. And a lot of her theories are very, very wrong, but it's a lot of fun doing it that way. I'm surprised at this point that pop culture alone, like, she knows the last scene. Like, who doesn't? It does. I mean, even Simpsons has kind of spoofed it at this point, but you know, she doesn't know how we get there. And I'm excited to continue that journey. It was a bad parent again, and I let my kid watch an R-rated movie. We had watched Lethal Weapon a while back, and he just was downstairs. He's like, you know, do you have anything else like Beverly Hills Cop? I really like that. I was like, well, didn't you like Lethal Weapon? He's like, oh, yeah, is there another one? I was like, yeah, there's 4 of them. He's like, what? So we watched Lethal Weapon 2, which I think is the best one out of the 4. And he had a good time with it. He really liked Leo being added to the cast. Leo gets whatever you want. Leo gets. Get it? Okay, I got. But he's been doing that around the house ever since we watched it. But this ℚ𝕤𝕤𝕤 with the one-liners, with the nail gun, nailed them both. Yeah, it was, I mean, my kid loves Arnold. So anytime you get some one-liners like that, he's all about it. But yeah, he enjoyed it quite a bit. We'll probably do 3 here sometime this week. But look, guys, the NFL season has begun. We had a game on Thursday night. We had a game on Friday night from Brazil, which was really crazy. But it's off to a roaring start. That Chiefs-Ravens game was absolutely bonkers. And it's like, that's the way you want to kick off the NFL season. So they got that one right. You know, the schedule makers got that one right. But look, the NFL to me is a religion, guys. Like, someone actually asked before, do you like NFL more than reading? I was like, here are my loves in life. Number 1, my wife and kids. Number 2, the NFL. Number 3, reading. And people are like, "Oh, you like it more than reading? You know, but you made a book channel." I'm like, yes, because the NFL is only here for 5 months a year. You know, reading gets the other 7. But yeah, my reading pace will probably slow down here for a little bit. First few weeks, getting into NFL Red Zone. If you guys know what that is, it will take over your life. NFL Red Zone is just amazing. But it's a very exciting time for me. It's the first time that people are talking about my team as a team that could actually be quite good this year. And that's just a bonus, really, to me. I just love the game. Obviously, it's great if your team is good, and I haven't really experienced a lot of that, you know, through my fandom with the Texans. But it's exciting times ahead, you know. And I love the NFL, and I can never get enough of it. And I'm just excited that hopefully we can talk more about football and less about Taylor Swift as time goes by. But you know what? I feel like it's going to get worse before it gets better. But that's okay. I don't hate Taylor Swift. I just don't need to see a reaction every time there's a first down. That's all. That's all I ask as an NFL fan. But it's going to be exciting. It's going to be exciting. Game is going to be starting here in a few hours, and got some people coming over, and it should be a good time. So, guys, what was your week like? Have you read anything good? You listened to anything? What are you watching? Drop in the comments, guys, and let me know, and I will talk to you in the comments.